Welcome to the next panel. Very excited to be here. The topic is driving healthcare innovation, unleashing the potential of digital therapeutics. Hi, I'm Andrew Bax, founder of Pilot 44. I'm here with Rudolf Wagner and Gabriele Chiaramonte. Thank you for joining. I'll do some quick intros so we can just get into the discussion at hand. Rudolf is joining us as senior executive that is advising with a specialization around software as a medical device. He's an accomplished executive leader with 15 years of experience in the pharma and medical devices industry, including software and AI and digital health. Rudolf has a proven track record of success overseeing really all aspects of the topic we're talking today, so I can't wait to tap into his background and expertise. Gabriele is a co-founder and chief product officer at Restorative Neurotechnologies. They are designing and developing innovative medical devices for cognitive rehabilitation. He's an expert in neuropsychological research. He's got a master's degree in clinical psychology, and he is qualified as a psychologist. So hopefully I didn't mess that up, guys, and got your intros properly stated. I'm Andrew Bax. As mentioned, I'm founder of Pilot 44. I just, by way of background, Pilot 44 is helping large corporations innovate, specifically bringing innovative solutions to market to their customers or patients, and with a focus on emerging technology. And so I'm really excited to be here today to talk about the potential of digital therapeutics. So, hey, Rudolf, hey, Gabriele. So let's get into it. I'd love to start off with a question around, who is the target audience for DTX or digital therapeutics? Who will be benefiting from these types of platforms the most? And so maybe let's just start with Gabriele, given your building in this space. What's your take on that question?
Yeah, thank you for the question, and hi everybody, and thank you for the intro. It was really perfect. So when we try to speak about the digital therapies, we have like on the digital products normal, we have in mind a customer-centric approach. Even for the digital therapeutics, often we have a patient-centric approach, because one of the biggest result of by now by the digital therapies is to provide some resources that are unique, that responds to the unique needs of the patient, and also is accessibility and scalability. So one of the biggest advantage of this solution could be bring some solution directly from the patient, from their home, from the hospital, wherever they are, and to bring some unique feature and unique technique that give them a real improvement. I speak by my experience in the digital therapeutics on a cognitive enhancement, and yeah, we saw that when we personalize the cognitive stimulation in the specific way, in a specific pathway that are strictly related to the clinical condition of the patient, the results are so much higher. But on the other hand, of course, not only the patient and maybe patient with some kind of illness, but also the digital therapeutics have to involve so many other stakeholders that are, of course, the healthcare provider, because they have to be sure that the therapy they bring in their healthcare facilities are secured, are effective, and there is a lot of clinical data and certification. We will talk obviously later about that on this protocol, that are several clinical studies on that. So they have to be pretty sure that the therapy, the innovation of the therapy is very effective and very secure. And also, of course, digital therapeutics, it's important for the clinician that are allowed to do therapy to the patient, such as the stakeholder. So many times the stakeholder, the caregiver of the patient are involved directly in the therapy. It happens a lot when we're talking about psychology rehabilitation. There is a lot of patients that are always with their caregiver, and the caregiver bring part of the therapy. So it's a patient-centered strategy to build the digital therapeutics, but there is a lot of stakeholders that are involved in this digital therapeutics.
Rudolf, I'm curious your take on, well, thanks for that, Gabriele. A couple of things that I heard there was accessibility, personalized care, meet them where they are. Obviously, that feels very complex. And so, Rudolf, I'm curious from your point of view, when you're advising and digital health businesses and folks that are on this journey, do you advise them to be focused or try to be accessible to all? Like, how do you think about the target in that respect when it comes to the solutions that are being built?
Yeah, I mean, you asked about the benefit, and when you look at digital therapeutics, before, therapeutics were a linear, one-dimensional item, a pill, a drug, right, which was given to the patient, and then at one point you got feedback back maybe 3 weeks later. When companies come and ask for regulatory and quality advice to go to market, they have a lot more ideas of benefit, right? Patient engagement, learning, gaining clinical data for intended use, enhancements and expansion, and so on. So they have data lake ideas, right? We gain so much clinical data, and then we can build the AI for our next product. So there's a whole bunch and flower of idea. So when you compare that, the regulation is 2-dimensional and the wishes from the customers are 3-dimensional. So we need to fold it as long as possible to really get through the regulation and to cover everything, so that the outcome not only benefits mainly the patient, it's still a therapeutic, it should benefit the patient in his disease and treatment journey, but also the expectations from the pharmaceutical company, for example, are much bigger than just providing a therapeutic. So the intention is really to meet the standards and to find out, as Agnieszka said before, to find out what is the intended use, what do we want to achieve, what is the benefit for the patient, how do we ensure safety, and these are the first questions. So as soon as a company knows what they want to, or what the intended use and the intended benefit of the digital, of the software, of the digital therapeutic will be, then you can check what is the regulation behind, how can we start with the MVP in a pilot phase, in a usability study, and then use the data gained to not only improve the software, but also to get the data you need later on to register. So things can go in parallel in order to speed up to market.
Thank you for that. Maybe staying with you, Rudolf. I mean, I'm curious. I'd love both of your take on this, actually. Given the complexities that were just outlined, who's actively investing in this space? Obviously, startups are getting funded. The pharma and healthcare is engaging, but like, who's really investing and building and collaborating? I'm curious from a stakeholder standpoint.
Yeah, so there are really different angles. We have the traditional investors, venture capitalists, who try to find the next big unicorn. And digital health is currently, it's a little bit, I compared it yesterday in another session to the dot-com bubble, right? Or to the dot-com era, right? Where the internet came up, and digital health is now with AI and all the potential. So traditional venture capitalists, what we see in the last couple of weeks and maybe months is that also hospitals, they have now understood that they're sitting on a huge data gold mine, sometimes well annotated, sometimes good consented, but that is something you need always to check. We see patient patient groups, patient advocates and patient associations, so really bottom up, they are now more and more engaging in this topic, and also try to see, can we build something for us, for our focus group, for a specific disease, usually rare diseases, where they try to get a glance by mainly venture capitalists and pharmaceutical companies with their companion apps.
Gabriele, I'm curious. I'm sure you're getting some phone calls over at Restorative Neurotechnologies about partnerships and collaborations. Like who are you engaging with right now from a partnership standpoint?
Yeah, like say Rudolf, there is obviously the classical venture capital that are always interested in startup, and the unicorn is always nice to find. So there is a lot of startup that are trying to
You're a
to
unicorn,
bring
right? You're another unicorn, I assume. Yes. Okay.
I have to say yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but of course, on the other hand, there is some also technology giants. So I am surprised how many programs that have a company like Google, Samsung, and Microsoft that are on digital therapeutics and on the medical sector. I didn't expect this, so we are trying to do some collaboration also with that. And on the other hand, we have a lot of collaboration right now with pharmaceutical companies, because they're trying to combine their stimulation with drugs, with a companion app for digital cognitive rehabilitation, because there is some preliminary studies that allow us to say that maybe combine some time of cognitive stimulation with some drugs, maybe for focus on attention or executive function. So there could be better results. So they are really, really interested to, and they have the correct mindset to understand what are the benefits of these digital therapeutics.
Great. Gabriele, I'm curious, from your lens at Restorative, what's your take on kind of the business model of this space? I mean, obviously you could speak to your business model, but maybe more broadly as well. Like, what are the monetization models of digital therapeutics?
In our case, it's really simple. So we have two parallel ways. So one hand, I'm speaking about Restorative right now. Yeah, we have a kind of market for the private hospital, private doctor, and etc. etc. So here we have a classical business model. So we have a fee. There could be a monthly fee, or could be a pay-per-use fee. We use the classical monetization model about our products. On the other hand, when you go to the public, it's a little bit complicated. You have to do with some other administrational issue about the country that we are working in. So there is some specification between country and country, and you have to be a little bit more bizarre to to try to go to the market and take some big number. But of course, digital medicine and digital products are pretty new in the medical section. So what we are trying to do is to understand what have already worked in other sector, and try to replicate the same things, the monetization model to this business.
And I'm curious, Rudolf, are there, any builds on that, but also for the early stage innovators here in the space that are on the line, are there business models that are potentially more regulatory friendly, or potentially easier to get off the ground versus others when you're first starting up? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question, and it touches a little bit my stealth startup. So I can't talk a lot about that, but there is an opportunity in the near future. So maybe you want to follow me. No, but indeed, one question is, as I said at the beginning, the intended use. Many companies incorrectly, but they are lucky because the authorities currently do not have the resources, nor do they even know how to enforce the regulation on software, because you can't hold software basically. Many companies claim clinical benefit, medical claim, treat or diagnose, and then in the terms and conditions they exclude the medical use completely. I just have to warn, that is not a proper way, and many companies have been caught on that. So that is not a way forward. Of course, as I said, there are basically the tree is folding up with two starting points: intended use, and then you are either a wellness app. So a therapy could also be advice on food, advice on training, fitness. That is not that regulated. So if you're MVP, if you want to see if your idea gains traction, and you do not cross the line about I can treat or I can diagnose, then that's a safe space. If you want to do medical claims, I always recommend, while you build up your systems, you do usability studies, you do clinical studies. In a study environment with a study protocol, you can safely start up and see if your idea works, if your software works. So that's basically it. If you want to get reimbursed, and that's a little bit what Gabriele touched about it on it, and I just want to spend one sentence on that. Gabriele is right. Every country has its different reimbursement model. If we look in Germany, DiGA, you need to be a medical device, at least class 1, higher preferred, I would say. And that is a burdensome process, the same as in the US. You need to be, and customers demand it and ask for this CE mark or FDA approval.
Thanks, Rudolf. Gabriele, from given your product focus, setting regulatory aside, what's sort of the biggest challenge on your plate right now as a product developer? And as the chief of that role, I'm curious what's keeping you up at night.
Yeah, what's keeping me up at night is regulatory thing. Yeah.
Set that aside, though. Obviously regulatory. Come on.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Why not, Rudolf? Why shouldn't it keep you up at night?
Well, because that is one thing. Yes, it is. It looks like a huge mountain, but you need to break it down. And I mean, I could elaborate 20 minutes about that. But honestly, what most founders underestimate is that they are already halfway there, because programmers with their ticket systems, with their GitHub, with their Confluence, with their Jira, they have already pretty much a good documentation in place. Everything around is basically this medical and clinical benefit and patient safety, right? But the pure IT stuff of the regulation is already done, but that's not clear to every founder yet. So you should sleep well, Gabriele.
Yeah.
Sleep now, Gabriele. But yeah, okay. I'm not letting you off the hook, Gabriele. What's outside of regulatory, now that you can sleep at night? What will keep you up?
Yeah, one of the biggest challenge in the next year is to bring a secure way and bring some data in order to put some AI-powered instruments in our software. What we are trying to do. We have a big amount of data. We have a big amount of patients, a lot of clinical data, more than 1,000 patients in our database have been treated with our protocols. So what we are trying to do is to take this data to our learning system. And what we are dreaming up to right now is to have on one side on a proactive diagnosis, because right now in the world of the healthcare, the disease is recognized most of the time when the symptoms are already manifested. So what we are trying to do is to bring this data that we have to learning system to be proactive on the diagnosis. So there is some pattern that maybe AI can help us to find and to discover early that it manifests, so we can have shortly an intervent on the symptom to act better, to act faster on this clinical condition. On the other hand, we have all agree that the treatment, the AI and the digital therapeutics have to move on a personalized treatment. So there is a lot of similarities between patients with the similar condition, but not all the patients, especially in the cognitive enhancement area, have is equal. So what we are trying to do is to collect more and more data, try to find out some pattern and try to create a stimulation digitally that could help this patient with a personalized approach, because every person have this some issue and some straight points, some other weak point, and the classical paradigm of rehabilitation of the therapeutics, especially in the cognitive enhancement healthcare system, it's a little bit poor on that. So there is standard, there are too rigid on that. So with the digital therapeutics, we cannot afford, we can now overwhelm this limitation. One of another big goal that we have is to take this data, take this modality of treatment, and try to do the same thing with the remote monitoring. So what we are trying to do is to give patients some instrument to take care of ourselves, do some prevention, do some rehabilitation, do some cognitive enhancement when they are at home, and give the clinician all the instruments to monitoring, to prevent if there is some pattern that allows them to see if there is something wrong. So the cure could be very, very much higher and responsive, and with better performance overall.
Nice. Well, I think I can speak for everyone here. I'm glad you're taking on those challenges. It sounds amazing and really important, but daunting at the same time. Some of that feels like an opportunity as well, right? Like for the future. And I'm curious, Rudolf, like, I know you can't mention your stealth startup, but now we're all intrigued.
Of course.
You know, what sort of big opportunities are you most excited about? It doesn't have to be related to your stealth startup, but just in general, you know, opportunities in the DT space.
Yeah. So first of all, I think we are down a little bit in the downwind of the AI enthusiasm. So I think the real models will come up. We will. So we have two sides. The regulatory bodies need to move because software and AI have overtaken them left and right. We know that usually regulations take a lot of time until they pass the parliaments and so on. So I would say that there will be some AI additions, AI guidances, but not a real new regulation that will take 2 to 3 years. And I'm also very happy that it takes 2 to 3 years, because usually when new regulation come out, they are not in industry's favor. We need to be very clear. Never. They have never been, and very well never will be. So that's what is on the regulatory body side. There will not be much movement, not much really what the industry hopes, relief of burden. That will not happen. On the other hand, I think the standard models will get better and better. So we will have off-the-shelf models people can use. We will have dedicated, specialized models even based on, as Gabriele said, real-time or really collected data of startups like Restorative. So that's very enthusiastic, and I think overall the industry will get more and more used. That's also what the startup is about. What I cannot talk about is to relieve a little bit that whole certification burden, ISO 27000, 13485, right? To find compliant ways to help startups in this space with a reduced number of quality and regulatory implementations, because they are good at software. We need to be honest, right? These are software developers. And really they are good at what they are doing. They are not good in secondary documentation, writing long stories about the product. So we will see a differentiation, I think, and there also will AI help. Even in the regulatory space, we will see AI support in the future.
Yeah, no, I think that's well put. And we only have a couple minutes. So I want to get you guys to like look into your crystal ball a little bit, where it's 5-10 years out, and some of the sort of messiness that's happening in the regulatory space, the sort of exponential curve on AI that we're on right now. Gabriele, from your point of view, assuming you're still building your unicorn, or whatever the next level above unicorn is, what will the world look like in 5 to 10 years, from your point of view?
Yeah, of course, one of the sure thing is the adoption of these instruments. So I think that in the next years, there are so many companies, so many digital products, et cetera, that we adopt solution with artificial intelligence inside. So it will be like an exponential adoption of this instrument with an exponential creation of data and learning system on that. So at what point I think that we have to we will reach a certain level of maturity of this instrument, and yeah, of course then there will be some ethical, then so bureaucratic issues to the privacy level, to the ethical level, etc. Many times when I spoke with my stakeholder, my doctors, sometimes they are a little bit scared because, yeah, I say there is some AI that could do something in the next future, they could learn, etc. Sometimes they are a little bit scared because they have a little bit fear about to be substituted with the artificial intelligence. I don't think that will happen in the next year. I think that AI will find its place in the human societies with a companion to the human machine. So human can do something that the AI today cannot do, and today the human can do something that the AI can do. So I think that the real important thing is to have the culture that AI is not an enemy, but could help us to see something that we cannot see right now, and help us in really decision in real life that could help people, that could save life. Yeah. So I think that more we adopt this technology, more data we collect, we can bring some real instrument on the therapeutics to bring some changes.
Amazing. That's inspirational, Gabriele. Thank you. And one last question for Rudolf. Where do we follow you to hear the announcement of your stealth startup?
LinkedIn.
I want to be LinkedIn. Okay. I was going to say X, LinkedIn, website.
No, it's only LinkedIn. So I have chosen to make it easy for my followers. You find me on LinkedIn, period.
Okay, good. Well, thank you both for your time. Really appreciate it. Great insights for the group, and we wish you both the best of luck.
Thank you.
Same back.
Thank you.